The ousted mayor of Tlokwe has defied a court order to vacate the municipal offices in Potchefstroom. The sheriff of the court has now been called in. Mapetle had until 10 o'clock this morning to leave. As you can quite well see now, it's 11 o'clock. That has passed. This deadline was set after the ANC failed in its bid to retain control of the Northwest Municipality. Let's welcome onto the show. It's Professor Annette Combrink, the new Tlokwe Mayor, who joins us on the line today. Professor, or should I call you Mayor Combrink? Good day to you, ma'am. Always a pleasure in speaking to you. For the moment, do we know if your new office is empty and ready for you or not?
No, our impression is not that it's empty. We're sitting out here in the waiting area. I'm here with some of my MMCs and some of my caucus members. When we tried to enter the offices this morning via the Secretary's office, the door was closed and we saw very clearly that there were people in the office, and so we retired to the waiting area. More of the ANC caucus and MMCs arrived. There was a bit of coming and going. But it was made very clear to us that we would not be entering the offices, and the legal counsel of the ANC then informed us that they intended applying for leave to appeal against the verdict. Now that leaves one in a difficult position, but we have informed the sheriff of the court and we have informed our legal counsel in Pretoria about the refusal to vacate the offices. So we're waiting, but we're not going to force a confrontation, as up to now we have resisted the temptation to do anything of that kind. If there's still an impasse in a little while, we are simply going to leave, and we will leave the matter to the court, as we have done consistently throughout this whole situation.
The ANC will tell South Africa that they will get Tlokwe back against next month at the by-elections. Do you fear that you could be, even when you do eventually get into your office, only be there for a matter of weeks?
You know what? We don't share the ANC's optimism that they're going to oust us by winning the by-elections. Because, you know, the candidates, the ANC councillors who were expelled, are mostly going to stand in the same wards for as independents. And we anticipate that working together with the independents might create a different kind of situation in the council than the ANC might be anticipating. There's one by-election next week on the 7th of August, and then there will be 9 by-elections in September. And that will decide the situation in the council, and it will decide who has the majority. For the moment, the opposition parties hold a slight majority, a small majority of 22 to 20. And so we're not quite as optimistic, or we are equally optimistic, perhaps, that we can swing the power balance in the council in the course of the next 6 weeks or so.
Professor Combrink, if I may, for just a final answer from you, as brief as you possibly could, ma'am, if I may ask. The 14 yes. ANC councillors that we understand voted Mapetle out of his office, are they going to be joining your ranks? Do you have any idea what has happened to them?
These are the councillors who were expelled, the ones who did not oppose my being elected on the 2nd of July. And they will now, in the wards where they previously stood as ANC councillors, they will be standing, as far as we get it, as independent candidates. And then we can look at any kind of coalition politics that might become possible. Professor,
I do thank you for the interview and taking time to speak to us. The new Tlokwe Mayor, it's Professor Annette Combrink, telling us that she's currently outside of the building in Potchefstroom. Mapetle, the now ousted mayor, has refused to vacate his office. We will check in with the story again later in the day. Well,
News that moves. eNCA.com.